Con un servidor y desde luego el presidente Obama.
Let me preface this by saying that we only get one question each, so I hope you'll excuse me for being inexcusably long-winded. It's actually a two-parter, and the first part of this question is for the three leaders, primarily for President Obama, and I would appreciate it if the Prime Minister... Oh, yes. And I would appreciate it if the Prime Minister, for the benefit of my Francophone colleagues, could answer in French as well. Buy Americans caused considerable concern outside the United States. I am wondering what you discussed about Buy American at this meeting, and also what power you personally have to rescind this measure, and whether you intend to use that power. Now, on a not completely related topic, healthcare has been an issue of tremendous debate in your country, and Canadians have looked on with some fascination as our healthcare system has become a political football in your country. I'd like to ask Prime Minister Harper and President Obama whether there are elements of the Canadian healthcare system, particularly the public model, which are worth emulating.
Well, first of all, with respect to the Buy American provisions, I want to assure you that your Prime Minister raises this with me every time we see each other. That's important to know, that he is expressing, I think, his country's concerns. I think it's also important to keep it in perspective, that in fact we have not seen some sweeping steps towards protectionism. There was a very particular provision that was in our recovery package, our stimulus package. It did not extend beyond that. It was WTO compliant. It was not something that I thought was necessary, but it was introduced at a time when we had a very severe economic situation, and it was important for us to act quickly and not get bogged down in debates around this particular provision. Prime Minister Harper and I have discussed this, and there may be mechanisms whereby states and local jurisdictions can work with provinces to allow for cross-border procurement practices that expand the trading relationship. But I do think it's important to keep this in perspective. This is in no way has endangered the billions of dollars of trade taking place between our two countries. It's not a general provision, but it was restricted to a very particular aspect of our recovery package. With respect to the healthcare debate, we are having a vigorous debate in the United States, and I think that's a healthy thing. The reason it's necessary is because we are on a currently unsustainable path. We spend far more per person on healthcare than any nation on earth. Our outcomes in terms of various measures of well-being don't rank us at the top. We're not doing better than a lot of other advanced developed countries that are spending much less per person. Individual families are being bankrupted because of the lack of insurance. We've got 46, 47 million people without health insurance in our country. And for those who do have health insurance, they are always at risk of private insurers eliminating their insurance because of a pre-existing condition, or because of they lose a job, or they have changed jobs. So the final aspect of it is that our healthcare inflation is going up so rapidly that our federal budget simply can't sustain it, nor can businesses that are increasingly having to make decisions whether they hire more workers or eliminate healthcare, whether they stop providing coverage or they force more costs onto their workers. So the whole system's not working well. Now, how do we change it? When it's 1/6 of the U.S. economy, there are going to be a lot of opinions, and Congress has moved forward, and we are closer to achieving a serious health reform package than we have been in the last 40 to 50 years. But there's going to continue to be a vigorous debate. I've said that the Canadian model works for Canada. It would not work for the United States, in part simply because we've evolved differently. We have an employer-based system and a private-based healthcare system that stands side by side with Medicare and Medicaid and our Veterans Administration healthcare system. And so we've got to develop a uniquely American approach to this problem. This, by the way, is a problem that all countries are going to have to deal with at some level, because if medical inflation continues at the pace that it's going, everybody's budget is going to be put under severe strain. And so what we're trying to do is make sure that we've got a sensible plan that provides coverage for everybody, that continues the role of the private marketplace, but provides people who don't have health insurance or fall into the cracks in the private marketplace a realistic and meaningful option. And we've got to do it in a way that also changes our delivery system so that we're not engaged in the kind of wasteful, inefficient medical spending that is so costly to us. So I suspect that we're going to have continued vigorous debate. I suspect that you Canadians will continue to get dragged in by those who oppose reform, even though I've said nothing about Canadian healthcare reform. I don't find Canadians particularly scary, but I guess some of the opponents of reform think that they make a good boogeyman. I think that's a mistake. And I suspect that once we get into the fall and people look at the actual legislation that's being proposed, that more sensible and reasoned arguments will emerge, and we're going to get this passed. Sorry to take so long.
La première question, comme le président Obama vient de dire, nous avons discuté cet enjeu. Je suis bien heureux de voir récemment un accord, une entente entre les provinces et le fédéral pour avoir un front commun sur ce problème. Il y a des discussions entre nos ministres américains et canadiens respectifs, nos ministres de commerce international et aussi nos fonctionnaires. Et ces discussions vont continuer quand je rencontre le président Obama dans les mois à venir. Pour le système des soins de santé, je peux dire seulement que les Canadiens appuient leur propre système. Sur le reste, c'est un débat américain et c'est une compétence des provinces. Ça, c'est ma réponse. On Buy American, we did have a good discussion. As President Obama said, I'm very happy to see that our provinces and the federal government have recently come to an agreement to work collectively on this matter, which is largely actually within their jurisdiction, since this concerns subnational procurement. Our respective trade ministers have been talking, officials are talking, and I anticipate that President Obama and I will be discussing this at greater length in our upcoming meetings. On the American healthcare debate, on the debate over the system of healthcare, As we know, as you know well, Canadians support their own healthcare system. As for the rest of this question, my only answer is that this is an American debate and a responsibility of the provinces.